Okay, we're going to substitute h equals 4 and w equals 40 into our equation. So 4 times 40 over 10. Now that 10 simplifies really nicely with the 40, so I actually just get 4 times 4 out of that fraction. And because we've got the same number multiplied together under the square root sign, it is just 4, so a is going to equal 8. Solving these equations, my first step is going to be to gather my x terms on the same side. So I'm going to add x to this side to eliminate this negative x. So adding x to this side, we get 4x take 2 equals 18. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides to eliminate this subtract 2. And then I'm going to divide away my 4. This question is a little more complicated, so first step that I'm going to do is multiply the 3 across to the other side, and I need to remember to multiply each piece of this equation, or this expression, sorry. And now I'm going to divide away the 2. You could expand and then collect if you wanted to, but the more complicated ones are the one that might need some instruction. So we're going to divide each term over this side by 2. And now it's a case of collecting our terms to the same sides. So we're going to add 3x over to this side to eliminate this term here. And we're going to add 1 to eliminate this side. And now we're going to divide our 4 away. Alright. The last piece of question 1. Looking at this, I'm going to, the easiest step to explain would be to collect these two fractions together, so add them because they have the same denominator. We can do that very easily. And now I'm going to multiply this 2 over to this side, and when I do that I get x plus 1 on one side, but the 2 only needs to be multiplied to the top of the fraction. I get 4x over 5, and now I'm going to multiply my 5 over to this side, up over here. So I get 5x plus 5 because I have to give it to each piece of this side of the equation. Alright, and that leaves me with 4x on this side. So now I'm going to collect my terms together. I'm going to subtract 4x from this side, and I get 5x take 4x is just 1x. And I end up with 0 left on our right side here. So subtracting our 5 from each side, we can see that x is negative 5. Alright, question 2. The set of scores are listed here, and we need to know the range of the scores. Now this is a single number, it's not a lowest dash highest. So our highest number is 16 and our lowest number is 2, and so our range is simply 14 of 16 take 2. The minimum and maximum scores are 2 and 16 respectively. Oh, I'll just read the next question. Calculate the other statistics that would be required to construct a box and whisker plot, or a box plot, for these scores. Alright, so that's talking about a 5-point summary. So we have a min, Q1, median, Q3, and a max. In order to do this, we need to have these listed in their proper order, or in ascending order. So 2, 4, 9, 10, and 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15, and 16. I think that went off the edge of your screens. 2, 4, 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 15 and 16. Alright, a couple of checks to do here. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 scores. I know that there's 2 2s in here, so that's pretty good. So instead of crossing through these values as I go through them, putting a dot underneath means that if I need to do it again, I can turn these dots into crosses, or I can start marking above. Whereas if I went through and put slashes through everything, I can't go through and reuse this list up here, and so it's just a better idea, rather than hacking through everything, to just put in a little annotation down the bottom to mark it off. So our minimum is 2, our maximum is 16. They're the nice easy ones. Now we need to find our median is the next one that we find. So counting into the middle, we're going to sit in the middle here. So that's halfway between 10 and 11 is 10.5. And then our Q1, or our first quartile, or also known as our lower quartile, but I like to think of it as our lower median. We're going to count in, we've got 5 scores here, so this middle score of 9 is our lower quartile, or Q1. And then same reasoning at the top, symmetric for Q3, or our upper quartile, or you think of it like the upper median, we count into the middle, so our middle score is 13. So these are the other statistics that are required to make a box plot. Alright, so this is our 5-point summary. So use a calculation to decide whether or not there is an outlier. It's a very common question. Now, so the equation for outliers is our lower acceptable number is Q1 subtract our interquartile range times by 1.5. Alright, so our interquartile range here is 13 take 9. So we've got 9 subtract 13 take 9 is 4 times 1.5, which is 6. So our lowest acceptable is 3. And then our highest acceptable number is the same. And so then our highest acceptable number is our third quartile plus that same value. So I don't have to go through and calculate it again. We can go straight to Q3 was 13 plus our 6 here. And so our highest number in this case, our highest acceptable value is 19. And so then are any of the values in our list outside of 3 through to 19? And we have 2 in there. So 2 is a mathematical outlier. So we need to make sure that we write that. End of question.